Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful like this out there, listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom. So, I want to go into an update. It's an MOTB update. So, I made a video a while ago talking about this Genius Act. Okay, this was signed into law in 2025. All right, it says fact sheet. President Donald J. Trump signs Genius Act into law July 18, 2025. So I made a quick video on that. I forget when I made it, but nevertheless, this is going to be an update to what's going on with the Genius Act. Okay, so right now I got another article pulled up here. This is it says Genius Act regulations, notice of proposed rulemaking. This is February 25th, 2026. So that was just a few weeks ago, couple weeks maybe. So with that being said, we're going to get this summary real quick, and we're going to go into the background, which is going to go more in depth. So it says the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, the OCC, is issuing a notice of proposed rulemaking to implement the guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins. Okay, so the OCC basically makes the rules for these stable coins and how they're going to be used and who can issue them out, so on and so forth. It says for U.S. stable coins, Genius Act regarding the issuance of payment stablecoins and certain related activities by entities subject to the OCC's jurisdiction. Okay. So basically, I'll show y'all real quick what a stable coin is. So I got this website pulled up. Okay, so this is a website that people use to buy and trade stocks. So right here you see the button. It says buy USDC. All right, what is USDC? This is an example of a stable coin. And notice how to buy one coin, it costs $1. And the price never changes. Okay, you could come back tomorrow, or whenever, this thing came out, you could have seen it then. It was $1 and it's $1 now. It's going to be $1 tomorrow, right? Now, you can go here to the search bar and just type in Bitcoin. That's a typical coin. You see, to buy one coin, it costs $70,289. And it changes. It goes up and down, right? So here, on August 12, 2025, as you see on the screen, it was $120,000. Then over here in November 20th, 2025, it was only $85,000. So see, it fluctuates. That's the point I'm trying to make. But if you go to USDC, that's a stable coin. Okay, and why is that important? Well, with a coin that's the same price as $1, now it's going to be something that everybody can just use. So you see how I have it pulled up on this website. You can imagine on your phone, you can pull it up in an app, right? And so now you have this app, and everywhere you go, you just pay with your phone, or you pay with your digital ID, right? Which will all be tied together with this thing digitally. Okay, I'm going to get a quick Google search here that I did earlier. It says, is USD a stablecoin? Yes, USDC is a prominent, fully backed stablecoin designed to maintain a one-to-one value peg with the US dollar. Okay, and actually, what I want to type in next is, can you buy or can you use stable coins with Apple Wallet, right? A lot of you might have Apple Wallet. You could pay for food at certain, convenience shops using Apple Wallet. You could buy food with Apple Wallet at certain stores or certain locations of different restaurants. They allow it. Some do, some don't. Okay, now watch this. Can you use stable coins with Apple Wallet? Yeah, overview. Yes, you can use stable coins with Apple Wallet primarily through third-party crypto debit cards. by using Apple Pay to purchase stablecoins and supported apps. Okay, so you can use it. Now, can you buy things with stablecoins using Apple Wallet? So y'all can see. Yes, you can buy things with stablecoins using Apple Wallet via intermediary services that enable crypto to fiat conversion, such as Ubit, right? So people are already doing this, and all it does is you buy your stablecoins, right? And then when you go to pay, it deducts the stablecoin from your account. Let's say you bought 100 stablecoins, right? And you want to go to Walmart and, buy a $20 bottle of liquor, right? It's going to deduct 20 stable coins out of the 100 that you got. It's going to convert those 20 coins to $20, and then those $20 will get taken out and given to Walmart through their system, and then you got your bottle of liquor, and now you are left with 80 USDCs. Just an example, right? I know that's a very simple example, but just so y'all can see it, man, this is coming. All right. And oftentimes we sound like a broken record, but it is what it is. So with that being said, you already can do this, but you need Ubit, right? To convert and do the extra, be the middleman. Well, what's going on with this Genius Act is they're going to make it so that you don't need a middleman. Okay. There's going to be an app most likely that you can use. You could probably just use your banking app or Apple Pay or whatever. Okay, and you're gonna actually be able to buy things directly with stablecoin. They're not gonna need to convert it to regular US dollars anymore, like with Ubit, like you just saw there. Okay, so and they're gonna make it in such a way that all these corporations that you go and buy things from, they're gonna allow you to pay with stable coins, man. That's what this whole thing is about. So now look at this background. We're gonna just read it real quick. It says the Genius Act was enacted on July 18, 2025, right? So we saw that's when it was signed into law by Donald Trump. All right. But they're moving quickly because they have to implement it. Okay, and it's going to go into that. It says it establishes a regulatory framework, right? Basically a set of rules for payment stablecoin activities. The Genius Act generally prohibits any person other than a permitted payment stablecoin issuer from issuing a payment stablecoin in the United States, right? So you got to be a certain special person to be able to issue these coins out. Okay, I can't just go and be like, all right, I'm gonna sell stablecoin to y'all, or I'm gonna go ahead and issue these coins. No, it's gonna be done by a particular authority that they choose. Could be the banks, could be whoever. Doesn't matter. The point is, this is gonna be just like how in the banks, for example, only they're allowed to print money, right, and then do whatever they want with that, right? So it's gonna be regulated. It's not gonna be like a lot of these people out here talking about how these things, these different coins are off the grid or whatever they say. They say these are more private. Well, with the stable coin, it's not going to be private. It's going to be like the US dollar, but it's going to be fully controlled. It's going to be more controlled than the transactions you use your card for, man, because everything's going to be connected to that central bank. Okay, and it's ultimately going to be being monitored, right? They're going to use AI to monitor it, so on and so forth. So all your transactions are going to be monitored in real time. What you purchase, what you do with your money, where it goes, right? So with that being said, let's go back. It says the Genius Act generally prohibits any person other than a permitted payment stablecoin issuer from issuing a payment stablecoin in the United States. The act further prohibits digital asset service providers from offering or selling a payment stablecoin to a person in the U.S. unless the issuer is a permitted payment stablecoin issuer or the issuer is a foreign payment stablecoin issuer that meets certain requirements. The Act also sets forth various regulatory and licensing requirements for permitted payment stablecoin issuers and foreign payment stablecoin issuers. So it's not going into really too much, just saying who can and can't do it. You got to be issued, you got to be licensed, whatever, so on and so forth. The OCC, right, that's the regulator, will have regulatory or enforcement authority over certain permitted payment stablecoin issuers, including subsidiaries of national banks or federal savings associations, federal qualified payment stablecoin issuers, and state qualified payment stablecoin issuers subject to the OCC's regulatory or enforcement authority under Section 4 or 7 of the Genius Act, 12 U.S.C. 5903 and 5906. In addition, the OCC will have regulatory authority over foreign payment stablecoin issuers. The notice of proposed rulemaking generally sets forth and seeks comment on the regulations that would apply to permitted payment stablecoin issuers and foreign payment stablecoin issuers under the OCC's jurisdiction, as well as certain custody activities conducted by OCC supervised entities, right? Now, the point being here, says the Genius Act's effective date is the earlier of 18 months after the enactment date, which is July 18, 2025, or 120 days after the primary federal payment stablecoin regulators issue final regulations implementing the Genius Act. So either one or two things is going to happen here. They're going to have to get this done and going and started and implemented by the latest January 2027. But it could happen, and I looked into it, it could happen. So basically, it could also happen whenever these regulators get this figured out. It says 120 days after the primary federal payment stablecoin regulators issue final regulations implementing the Genius Act. So if they move fast, this could be here by the end of 2026, even sooner. Technically, it can be done sooner. Okay, but the way it looks, based off of what they're saying here, is going to happen between now and 2027 January. Okay, so this could happen pretty much at any time. We know how these Edomites move. Okay, any little crisis can be used, false flag event, whatever. Because you remember C19, that was a big transition for things to become more and more digital, right? It normalized, doing things more online, all these Zoom meetings, virtual meetings, virtual doctor's visits, virtual school, just kind of being I want to make sure I use the right word because the algorithms, just being locked up in your house all day. Okay, so basically, man, this is very soon about to happen, to where they make it so you can buy houses, cars, food, gas, literally anything using digital money called stable coins. Okay, just like with an app, and you can buy it anywhere, anytime, anyway. Okay, this isn't the same thing as the US dollar. It's going to be a coin. Okay, so basically this is what they're going to use more than likely. And I'm not saying the coin is going to be the USDC, because this is just one of many so-called stable coins out there. Whatever coin they end up using, the point is this is going to be part of that digital system, which does what? Which goes hand in hand with the MOTB, the mark of the beast. Okay, this is Revelation 13 and 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And that beast is the power structure of NATO and the EU. it says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? That image of the beast being the Western way, okay? How the West does things through all their false philosophies. We go into it all the time. Moism, idolatry, democracy, this capitalism, woman worship, so on and so forth, right? So basically, the same way that China has a social credit score system, and if you don't adhere to their culture, you lose points, right? That's the same way that this beast is getting ready to basically set up, but worldwide, man, because China is the model for the rest of the world. And these international banking families, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, so on and so forth, okay, they're gonna make it so that this beast, NATO and the EU, sets up that digital, what is it called, the social credit score system worldwide, and it's gonna be tied to your digital ID, and those things are all gonna be tied together to a chip. Okay, let me get a picture real quick. Okay. Now there's variations of this chip, all right, but we know that the main one is the rice grain. It looks like a rice grain, okay? Okay, this is what's going to be used to, have all your information, right? Your jump shot status, right? Did you get your your Jabberwockies, right? Your medical records, your bank account information, your stable coin balance, right? Your digital ID, right? Which, however they organize it, the point is that this thing is going to be filled with all your information, and it's going to be inserted underneath your skin using a sharp object that looks like a syringe, okay? And so once they get this C-hip inside of people, right, either in their hand with the rice grain or in the brain with Neuralink, Synchron. There's different companies that push the brain-computer interface, okay, which there's variations of that, okay, but we're going to go ahead. Let me just type in brain-computer interface real quick, okay. Yeah, they're not showing the one I want, so we're just going to type in the Neuralink, okay. Yeah, that one right here. This is the main one. There's a good depiction of it. I mean, it doesn't look like that, but it looks more like this. But, the point being, there's going to be a chip either in your hand or in your brain, right? And that's where all these, the stable coins, the digital ID, the social credit score, all your information, is going to be tied to that, right? So if you don't adhere to their ways of life, man, it's gonna what? It's gonna cause you to be killed, right? Okay, and those who don't get the chip, they're gonna try to cause you to be killed, man. And some of us will be killed for the testimony of Yahweh Shai, man. When this chip is made mandatory. Okay, verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? That's the ones we just showed you. The rice grain, right? The Neuralink, the Synchron, okay? It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? So if you don't have this technology underneath your skin, in your hand, in your brain, or wherever they tell you they want to put it, you won't be able to participate in society, right? Causing you to possibly be killed. See, that's what's coming, all right, to the world, okay? And before this comes, this World War III will not go nuclear yet. Okay, this prophecy has to be fulfilled and out of the way, Salakia. has to be fulfilled and out of the way before the end can come, man. Okay. So yeah, man, I looked into it. This Genius Act is literally gonna allow you to, pretty much buy whatever you want. And you know that all these corporations are already gearing up for when this thing is implemented, so they could be the first ones to basically take advantage of all the cash flow. Okay, because this is a new thing, and it's gonna be like, with any new thing, they push it on the commercials, on the TV. Okay, this is gonna be a very big thing, man. But as soon as it is implemented, this could happen this year. Okay, we're only in March, so what they're saying is it can happen between mid 2026 or January 2027 at the latest, man. And when it is, that's it. Everything will be digital at that point, and they're gonna phase out cash. They're gonna phase out the regular dollar, and everything's just gonna be on that chip. All right, this is all part of it, and then it all goes back to a central bank. It's gonna be all controlled, man. It's not gonna be all these different organizations, these different banks, these different, it's all gonna be one central. Okay, and that goes hand in hand with that one world government, that one world order. Okay, and so with that, we're just gonna grab a few precepts here. Okay, this is Isaiah 14 and 12, because this system that Esau wants to create is so he can feel like the Most High, man. Okay, this is Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Right, these are the light bearers, right? That's why it's called the Illuminati, okay, because they feel they have more knowledge than everyone else, okay? All right, so they are illuminated, right? They call themselves the illuminated ones, these Rothschilds, Rockefellers, these international banking families. It says, Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations, right? Because the Lord's going to take these devils down, man, starting with those elite bankers and the rest of the Edomites. It says, For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Right, so he thinks he is God. He thinks he is the Most High. This devil Esau has a God complex. Okay, and that's why they want this total control, this total domination, man. Okay, and again, I'm gonna keep bringing out them Epstein files, man. You see what they're doing on them files, man. All right, they didn't fucking make it super clear and super graphic, but you know what's going on. You know what's going on. It only takes a little bit of common sense to know what's going on. And ultimately, man, they're going to be able to do whatever they want. They're going to have complete control of the people. Videos like this one I'm making here, exposing the wickedness of these devils, bringing out the truth, of the Holy Scriptures and how, it ties into, what's going on now, filtering this news through the Scriptures and showing you the prophecies. This video won't be allowed in this NWO, man. So you people think that you're going to get any type of justice in this new system, man? All right? You, your kids, everything you own will belong to these elites, man. They're going to do whatever they want on a much higher level, man. This is why the Lord has to destroy this place, man. Because everything they do is contrary to the Scriptures. But they want to be contrary to the Scriptures, but then they want to be like the Most High. It's not going to happen, man. The Lord is going to take them down. All right, continues, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High, right? So that's what these Edomites want to do. That's why they got all these cameras everywhere, surveillance, drones. All right, that's why everybody has a smartphone, man. They're looking at you through that camera. They can hear you. They can hear me making this video right now. They can see you. Okay, all these smart TVs and cameras, you can look it up. They snap a picture every like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. Okay, this devil Esau is a disgraceful person, man. Okay, he wants to be like the Most High. Okay, and he wants that blessing back, but it's not gonna happen, man, because the Lord has rejected Esau, man. This blessing belongs to Jacob. Okay, and they think through their technology and their research they're going to be able to create that Tower of Babel all over again. Okay, all these nations coming together. That's why they're going to have a one world religion. Okay, that's what you see in all these modern religions. It's all the same bullshit. Everybody come together. It's all about love. It's all about peace, right? But it's never about justice. It's never about doing what's right and anything deep. It's always some watered down surface level bullshit that leads nowhere. You know, like this prosperity doctrine you see in the so-called Christian church, man. You know, these devils have their hand in everything, man. Okay, the only truth out here, you're gonna find it at Great Millstone, man. The 100% truth of the Bible. Okay, and what it says, you know, a lot of people think it's crude, but it's the truth, man. Especially when you see what they're getting ready to do to you people, man. They got all these concentration camps. They got all these guillotines ready, man. They got all these soldiers. They got these robots. They're ready to roll on you people, man. They're ready to set up their NWO, man. Okay? And, you know, just to get you an example, man, you know, because these devils, like I said, they want to have surveillance everywhere, just like the Most High. Well, this chip is going to track you everywhere. They got these towers. They're going to know your location in real time, what you're doing. You know, everything's going to be more interconnected, man. It's not like now where you got a phone. You could leave your phone on the table and go for a walk. You know, you could use your phone. Someone else could use your phone. And so they don't really know if it's you or not. They just know that this phone that you own could be connected to some activity that's going on with that phone. And then they got to go through that institution and blah, blah, blah. It's a process, but everything's going to be 100% connected when they have this chip. There's not going to be any guesswork. There's not going to be anything in the way of them feeling like they're the Most High. Because the Most High is everywhere, man. This is Proverbs 15:3. The eyes of Yahweh are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Right? We know the eyes of the Lord. Okay, the Lord sees all things, man. The Lord fills the world, and he's got his chariots everywhere. So they're seeing everything that's going on. They're recording what this devil is doing. Okay, and this devil can only create things that are artificial and carnal, but he'll never match up to what the Most High is, man. Okay, and so the Lord is going to send his son Yahushua to get rid of this devil, man. Okay, but we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We know that this stable coin thing, all right, this is not a convenience thing. This is all part of their plan. Okay, we've been bringing out these videos forever, man. Starting with the apostles and elders, they've been bringing it out for decades. And even before YouTube, they were on the street preaching about the MOTB. And how it's going to go mandatory one day for buying and selling. And then after that happens, that's when World War III will go nuclear. Okay, and our Lord and Savior Yahushua will return. Okay, but I want to get this scripture real quick, man. This is the parable of the fig tree. Okay, because we're seeing war is brewing. Okay, there's wars, there's rumors of wars. Okay. There's all type of things going on. Earthquakes. You could go on the earthquake monitors and see them, you know, right now. Every day there's tremors, earthquakes. Okay? And you also see all the different signs that the Lord told us, man. All these prophecies being fulfilled. Right? You got the Iranians over there. That's the Carmanians. And we see how the stage is set for them, Russia, China, North Korea, the assembly of great nations to destroy America. Everything is set, man. The only thing that has to happen is this NWO gets set up. You know, and I just saw the elder brother Yashawamba's video talking about, you know, how basically they're going to be setting up, you know, this NWO system. Of course, before the World War III goes mandatory, or World War III goes nuclear. And he was talking about how basically these different heathen nations like Russia, China, America, so on and so forth, they're gonna want to fight over who has control over this system, man. Because this system is gonna be the ultimate cage for humanity, man. To keep people in digital slavery, man. And we know that, these people up there in power, they're gonna want to have basically the controller, man. It's like a video game. You got a controller, you control the character in the game. Well, shit, if there's only one controller, and is me and another person, we're gonna fight over it, right? So that's what's gonna happen, man. They're gonna fight over this system and end up destroying themselves, man. And that's what Yahweh Bashem Shai created the nuclear bomb for, to be a stumbling block. So these Edomites are gonna stumble. They're gonna be destroyed by what they created to destroy others. They're gonna destroy themselves, man. Russia and America, those are two Edomite nations, man. So, the world is going to end through white on white crime, But this is Mark chapter 13 and verse 28. It says, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When her branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh," right? You could see a tree and understand what season we're in. Just like we could see the news, what's going on, the morale of the people, right? We see the economy going down, right? We know what time it is, man. We see war is brewing. We see that this Genius Act, which started in July 18, 2025, okay, it's written in there that it has to start before January 2027 or January 2027 at the latest. So we're coming into that time where they're about to push this digital coins, and it just so happens that they're at war with Iran, and Iran is kicking America's ass financially, causing the economy to go down. Okay, they could use that as an excuse to say, all right, we're going to switch the US dollar to stable coins and then get rid of the debt. I was watching a video about that. I don't know how that debt works to the T. But I do know that they could use that as an excuse to switch over to that stable coin, which they're going to have stable coin, but they're going to want everybody to get on board. Okay, and once they phase that dollar out, all that has to happen is for that app, that device to go under your skin. And that's it. All right, this can all happen in a very extremely short period of time, man. All right. So it continues in verse 29. "So ye in like manner, when ye shall see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the doors." Right? It's here, man. It's at the door. All right? It's not going to be much longer. Okay? Mark 13:30. "Verily I say unto you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." Right? We are that generation that will not pass, man. All right, Yahushua will return in our lifetime, man. All right, we are too close to the end for this to go on another 40, 50 years, man. Okay, all this stuff started happening, not too long ago. Okay, with all the wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, famines. Now we're seeing the stable coin being passed. Now we're seeing the marks are both here, man. The rice grain is here. Neuralink, Synchron, all these brain computer interfaces are here. Everything's here, man. They just got to make that announcement. Okay, this is it. All right, America's almost finished, man. Yahweh Shem Shai is getting ready to end the times of the Gentiles, man. And it's about to change. There's going to be a change from, these Edomites ruling to the Israelites. So you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, the true Israelites of the Holy Bible, we're getting ready to rule here on this earth forever, man. Like the scripture says, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever, man. Because Yahushua is going to make quick work of these heathens and then set us back in our own land, man, to rule forever. So we're at the end of this thing, Yahshua. Definitely stay circumspect and keep watching and praying, man. This is an update on the Genius Act. Okay, it's getting ready to be implemented very soon here. It could happen, it could happen. Hell, it could happen this month, man. Who's to say that these rule makers aren't finished? They may very well be finished because they got to move quickly, man. Okay, they're on the Lord's time, not their own time. So with that, I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. And a sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom wa. Abba Babal. Shalom.